Everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Rose, and in today's video I am going to be sharing with you Merit Beauty's new holiday set. They came out with a lip set and also a blush set. The blush set is called the Mini Flush Balm Trio, and this is called the Dress Code set. And I have already swatched all of them because I was super excited when I got it in the mail. But as you all know, I have been a longtime fan of Merit Beauty. There are some products that I love more than others. I think that's with any brand. But if there's one product that I am constantly raving about, it is their blushes. I have super dry skin, and so for me, Merit Beauty definitely caters to my skin type. But I am so excited to share all of these with you. There are 2 limited edition shades in the blush minis, and all 3 of these lip shades are not only limited edition, but one of them is also a limited finish. So this package here has the satin lip, a matte lip, and then a lip blush. So we're going to be trying on all 3, seeing which ones I prefer more. Also, I do want you to know that the only thing I have on my skin is concealer. I put concealer under my eyes and I put it also around my mouth. I have nothing else on my cheek here. Let's get into this. I'm not used to doing swatches and stuff, so definitely bear with me. But I do want to start with the blushes. The difference between their full-size blush and then also the minis. So it is in fact mini. These are the different sizes when it comes to the blush. These are them like in the palm of my hand. So it is a decent size difference. In the full size blush, you get 0.31 ounces. And in the minis, you get 0.18 ounces. All right, so I'm gonna start with the first color, which is Mood. And this one is described as a dark burgundy. So for me, I love just swatching Merit products straight on my skin. I do think that they are kind of like, they're very sheer. And so for me, I do think that just going straight on my skin is going to be okay, even though the swatch itself is quite opaque. But you can see here that it is like a soft burgundy. I would say it's definitely more of a red versus a purple when it comes to burgundy, and I know that that's exactly what a burgundy is. And I'm just gonna go directly on the skin. Pretty. So one of the things I love about Merit blushes is, again, they're so versatile, really lightweight. Look at how like intense that went on the skin, but then you're able to just blend it out. And I love putting their blushes really forward on my cheek because they really do add such a beautiful flush of color. Okay. So this is what the burgundy color looks like. This is a beautiful color, and normally I wouldn't go for a burgundy because this is such a red tone color, and I personally do like things that are a little bit more cool toned. But for the purpose of the swatches, I'm going to put a little bit more just so that you can truly get a sense of the color on my face. And the next color I'm going to swatch in the trio is Stockholm. So Stockholm is their pink, and this is actually the one that I have in a full size. So I don't want to swatch the mini one because I could always give that one away. I constantly am giving my mom my makeup. So this one is Stockholm. It is a very, very fair pink. This one I love in the winter time when I am my palest. So yes, I still have a tint of color. I still have this like warmth to my skin. I can get quite pale, especially once we hit February, where all hope is lost. Everyone is inside 24/7. Not even like 5 minutes of sun have really seen my face. So this definitely works better for me in the winter. But again, because their colors are so versatile, I am going to, just like what I do with the other one, put this directly on my face. I'm gonna go with a heavier hand because it is such a light color. But I will say the burgundy color, I think because it's closer to red, there's something about this color that I love even more. I think there's something about this that looks even more natural. There's something about making the skin look like a flush of red versus a flush of pink, I think is more flattering for some reason, which is not what I would have anticipated. I would have just assumed, oh, the pink definitely goes more with my complexion, but I really do love this. There's something about it that looks, again, like I said, even more natural, which is interesting. All right, so I am going to wipe off Stockholm because the next color is also a deep color. And so I want us to be able to compare Mood and Bespoke next to each other. So let me wipe this off and then I'll come back to show you the next one. Okay, so here is the color Bespoke, and this is described as a pinky brown, and I definitely see the brownie pink in the swatch. This looks on my complexion very brown, almost like if you were a warm tone person, you could almost even get away with this as like your bronzer. But it is very different from the first color. But let's see the true test. When we put it on our skin, what exactly does it look like? Is there a big difference? So I'm going to do what I've been doing with all of them, going directly on the skin. This almost looks like a little purple to me on my skin. So let's see. So what's weird is I don't know if it's the color that's coming up patchy or if this just doesn't go with my complexion at all and it's looking patchy and almost like dirty on my skin. This is way too brown for my complexion, that is for sure. I have a neutral undertone, but when I'm picking out, especially blushes, I do like to go for more of a cool tone. So having something that's really brown, yeah, it almost looks like my skin is dirty or like patchy. I'm not sure if you can tell with the lighting. It looks, yeah, dirty. Like if I had like sun, if I had gotten like sun or maybe even used like a sun tanner and it like came off of my face uneven. That's really what it looks like. Versus this one, we can still see like it's really smooth and it just complements my complexion a little bit more, even though it's really not a color that I would normally go for. So I would say that this color in particular is for a very warm tone person, because there's something about this that feels very warm. So from far, I feel like you can't really notice much of a difference with the two colors, but for sure up close, I see a difference. I wouldn't even leave my house like this, which is so interesting because again, they swatch so great on my arm, but it has to be that undertone. That looks so brown that it just has to be the undertone. That has to be for a very warm tone person in order for that to really complement the skin. All right, so these are the blushes. I'm actually going to leave these on my face while we swatch the lips. Okay, so we're going to go in first with Bespoke. So this should be similar, I'm assuming, to this particular cheek color. And I am going to just go straight and apply it. I will say Merit Beauty's lip formulas are amazing. So this is their satin one. So this is definitely going to have more of a sheen. If this is anything like the blush, I am going to predict that this will not look good on my complexion. but we're going to swatch it anyway. It might just look way too brown for me, but you know, lip liners really do fix everything, but that looks very brown, so let's see. Okay, I wanted to bring you even closer. So because this is a satin formula, it is going to have a little bit more of like a slip and a sheen, and you know, just as I predicted, although this is a beautiful color, this is definitely for someone who is a warm toned person. This just, my whole face kind of like, if I were to cover this side of my face, I look very pale and I look just like almost a little sickly. Beautiful color. Like these colors, if this is something that definitely works for you, you could really rock this. This would be such a beautiful, even everyday color with a lip liner. It is beautiful. It just does not work with my complexion. We're going to go with the next color, which is black tie. And black tie is described as a matte color. So this is really pretty, and this looks like it would go perfectly with this cheek right here. Again, still a very warm toned red, but definitely more on like the berry side. So I think that either way, either you are warm toned or cool toned, you may be able to pull it off, but obviously this is pulling very, very red. And I'm also applying them very intensely. I would never wear a matte lip like this. I would just tap it in, but I want you to see the opacity of the color, and so that's why I'm like being a little intense. But the thing with Merit products is everything about their products are meant to be worn like light and, you know, taps into the lip. I could actually do that here on the bottom, so that you can see that with the bottom lip. So when you build it up versus if you wore it like really, really lightly and just tapped it on the lip. Okay, so again, these swatches are not going to be perfect, but you see how this still looks very, very red. This is actually a really pretty color. A very pretty color, especially for the holidays. I can totally understand why they named it black tie. This is actually a really cute name for this lip. Again, for someone like me, this is very, very warm toned, but it doesn't look that bad. I just look so pale with all of these colors. But again, I believe one, because I am pale, and two, because they definitely cater more warm tone complexions. But that's the lip color. Okay, this last one is called De Jour, and this definitely seems a little bit more like a cool tone pink. Still looks very brown, but this would actually look beautiful with Stockholm, and this is probably the only color that might work for me without anything, without even needing a lip liner, but let's see. But yeah, this almost looks like my lip color. And this is described as a lip blush. So lighter weight, thinner in formula, pretty. And that's without anything, without a lip liner, without like having any of like complementing makeup on. So I can see for cool tone people, this would be the best choice. And then with like a really nice lip liner, a cool brown lip liner, oh my God, so pretty. And these are the swatches again. All right, so I'm going to take all of this off and I will come back to actually do my makeup to get ready for today. All right, so I decided to change into what I was going to be wearing today because this shirt is super tight and I didn't want to have to like squeeze my head through a bunch of makeup. Also, FYI, I am not going to be showing you like every step that I do for the makeup because the point is really to show you like the Merit products, but I'll just like mention the things that I'm going to be putting on step by step, but you're not going to see like the entire makeup process. So for my foundation, I am going to be going in with the Sephora Reveal the Real Skin Tint. I love this skin tint. I got it in the summer. My summer shade is 200N, but since then, this is definitely a little too dark for me, so I have been mixing it with 170O, which is their olive complexion. I'm mixing the two of these together. That's what I'll be putting on as foundation. My concealer is going to be my Tower 28 concealer. I love this concealer for under my eyes, and I have it currently in the color IE. Okay, so I have my base on, and now I am going to contour a little bit with my Rare Beauty contour stick, and this is Happy Soul. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and put it on my hand, and then I am going to contour. And again, I'll be back then to finally apply our blush. All right, so I have also now applied my contour, and I have chosen to go in with the color Mood. I think that right now this color just looks really good on my complexion. And previously when I showed it to you, I didn't really have like a good makeup base on. So I am hoping that now that I have a really strong base on, that it will look even prettier. So last time I went directly in on my skin, and even though that's usually my preferred method, because this is just a little darker than what I'm used to and a little warmer than what I'm used to, I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand first. I'm going to actually go in with my foundation brush. I've been using the Nikki LaRose collab with BK Beauty N17. So pretty. I use it to apply my foundation, and now I'm going to use it to apply my blush. And there's just something about how subtle and evenly this distributes product that I feel like it's actually going to be the best method for me when it comes to applying the blush, because now I know for sure I will not be applying it with a heavy hand at all. And I can kind of build it up how I see fit. How pretty. I do want more. So I'm gonna go in with more on my hand. I feel like I can definitely handle a lot of blush. And because I already know which lip I'm going to use, I can go stronger. You guys hear that sound? And that's my Dexcom telling me that my blood sugar is low. And yes, my blood sugar is low, and I'm still sitting here because I already like drank a little bit of soda before I sat down. It's been going on for like 10 minutes, so I'm gonna wait for like those 15 minutes before I start to take anything else. And I want to be careful because, again, I feel like when my blood sugar drops, I can like overcompensate and like have too much stuff, and I am going out to eat, so like I don't want to have too much and then kind of like mess me up for food, because I am leaving within the next hour. So I'll let it creep up slowly, and I'm not at a dangerous number. I'm like at 72. Like if I was really low, I wouldn't be making sense. Or maybe I'm not making sense. JK. This is what happens when you've lived with a disease for 33 years of your life. You could make jokes. Beautiful. Okay, let me zoom you in. Wow, how pretty does that look? And I've been applying for a while, and I do feel like, again, it shears out so much, and for some people that would actually like bother them about the blushes, you know, oh, they sheer out so much, but that's what makes them work. One, they can, if you put too much, you can definitely sheer it out, but also if you put too little, you can add to it. Like, I like makeup that I can build and that I don't want to feel like, oh my God, I made a mistake. And so for me, usually I will take this and just like draw directly on my face, and I may still end up doing that, but to make sure that I was going to really give myself an even application and give the blush a fair shot, I did it on my hand first, but again, I got most of it off, which is pretty good. Zoomed you back out again. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to powder my under eyes, and just like the slightest bit in the center, but I'm going to leave everything else on its own. Again, I have dry skin. It's about in the 70s right now outside, which is perfect weather, not a drop of humidity. So I don't really need to powder my skin a lot, but for sure my under eyes, because I have like a lot of creasing that happens there. So I am going to set my under eyes. That's it. I feel like that's all I need when it comes to mattifying the skin. Now let's finally get to the lip, and I do also have to apply mascara, but I am going to line my lips with the Makeup Forever Artiste Color Pencil in the color Wherever Walnut. I've spoken about this before. I love this color. It's so close to my natural color, and I just think that it's perfect for overlining my lips without having like such a defined lip. If you want a defined lip, obviously you can go a little darker. I may have to, depending on this combination with the lip color that I'm going to use, but I'm gonna start with this and see. I have lined my lips, and I also went in a little bit with the color onto my lip itself, because my lips have discoloration. Like, there's two different colors. A little bit like above is a little darker, and then in the center it's a little lighter. And so in order to just make my lips look as even as possible before I apply the lip color, I brought the liner a little bit further down. I will say, just from looking at this, I think that the liner is a little too close to my lip color, and then that pink that I'm going to use, I think is a little too light. So we'll see first. Let's apply it, but then I may need to go in with a little bit of a darker lip liner just to add some dimension and a little bit of like an ombre, because I do think that this is going to be a little bit too pale. So let's go in first with the color, and I am going to use the color Du Jour. This was that like really light pink, almost like a gray pink, at least on me. So I'm gonna go in. It's so smooth, so pretty, like super smooth. Hopefully this is one where they also will add individually, and that it doesn't have to be purchased in the trio. But there you go. It's like almost the exact same color as Wherever Walnut. Like, you can see this is a beautiful everyday combo. I really think that this combo is gorgeous, but it is just like a little too exactly the same, and I think that's fine. But I am gonna go in with a little bit of a darker liner just so that I can add a little bit of dimension on the outside. But again, if you wanted to walk out just like this is beautiful. But I do feel like my lips are kind of getting a little lost because it's so similar. So I am going to go in with this Anastasia pencil, and this is actually in the color Cool Brown, and I'm going to lightly line my lips and then blend that out just so I can get some dimension in my lips. All right, so this is the final look using the new Merit Beauty products. The look is so fall appropriate. I can totally see why this is considered their holiday collection, just because of like the vibes that it gives. But if you're anything like me as far as cool tone / neutral, these are actually the two that I think would work the best. Mood in the blush, and then J'adore in the lip. So pretty, but we already know makeup doesn't have any rules. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video, seeing the swatches, how I applied the makeup, and I will see you all in the next one.